From his kickboxing to his MMA, everyone in the UFC is scared of Alex Pereira. Rightfully so, too. The man is a beast in the octagon, though it wasn't always like this. Just last year in 2022, Pereira wasn't really in the picture. He'd won only 2 fights from 2017 to 2022. He was unranked at that time, too. The most impressive win Alex had to his name till then was Andreas Michelidis.
Speaking to it, all the clinch and the grab.
Some fans barely even managed to recognize Alex's exploits and achievements in kickboxing, along with his victories over Israel Adesanya in the past. It made him a perfect sideshow fighter to be included in the UFC's heavyweight division without a doubt. Though with Pereira being 34 years of age, and with already about a decade of mileage in the ring, fans wondered if this was really the best case scenario, not to mention all of the new skills that he had to learn. The truth is, there isn't even a historical comparison in this scenario. Every single winner of MMA fighting's Fighter of the Year award started their campaign out as a main player already. Daniel Cormier won the award back in 2018, and Kamaru Usman did the same in 2021. But the two were already UFC champions when they were crowned. When Max Holloway won the award in 2017, he already had an interim belt to his name. Adesanya and Deiveson Figueiredo also won the award in 2019 and 2020 respectively, but both fighters were already contending for the title at the time. Alex started the year off with a fight against Bruno Silva. Now Alex is the man with the least amount of MMA experience to hold a UFC belt. He's the first person to achieve such a feat after Brock Lesnar. MMA in 2022 had a pretty topsy-turvy ride, and you can thank Pereira for that. The multi-sport monster managed to pull off the impossible at every turn he found himself at. The matchmakers at UFC realized what they have with Alex, especially after he knocked out Sean Strickland in just 2 minutes back in July last year. So the UFC matchmakers could set up a pretty epic fight now, considering how Pereira is the boogeyman, for Adesanya at least. Alex actually sent Israel packing out of kickboxing. Once Pereira went up to 2-0 in their series, Adesanya left that combat sport in its entirety. That's when he rose up the ranks and became a dominating champion in MMA.
I expect the championship experience of Adesanya to start to take form and show itself.
Yeah, look at the big, deep breaths from the challenger. Oh, that was a good elbow from the bottom.
Israel is the second most decorated fighter in the history of the middleweight division of the UFC.
Oh! Knockdown for Adesanya! Costa trying to recover! That is it!
So Adesanya managed to eclipse Pereira and rose to fame. UFC 281 was to be his MMA capstone, where he'd finally beat Alex in the octagon, but it turned out very differently from what he'd thought. Israel did have the upper hand in all 3 of their fights. In the first match, he should have won a decision. The second fight was highlighted by a Hail Mary comeback in the last round. The third and final fight was set for UFC 281, and I'm not going to lie, it felt like a Hollywood movie was playing out in real life. Pereira's furious rally in the last few minutes of the fight ended up cementing one of the most unique crossover rivalries in combat sports history. This was when the world saw a man who'd hunted an all-timer down to 2 different combat sports and came out victorious every time.
At 2 minutes, 1 second of the 5th round, declaring the winner by TKO and new UFC Undisputed.
First in kickboxing,
Over and out! That's the power. Holy.
and then now in the UFC. All the other awards from 2022 had debatable winners, except for the MMA Fighter's Fighter of the Year award. Everyone had found out what Pereira was capable of by the time he beat Adesanya in the Octagon 2. The reason fighters are scared of Alex is pretty clear now. He ended one of the longest title runs in recent history by a UFC champion. This was Adesanya's first loss in the 185-pound division. and his second defeat in his mixed martial arts run. The difference between him and Adesanya's other recent opponents was that Alex was aggressive right in the middle of the ring. UFC President Dana White announced that the two will now face each other off again at UFC 287 in April, where Pereira will defend his title against Israel. And who knows, Alex might just come out victorious again. I'd definitely bet on him winning. The Brazilian fighter that trains out of Connecticut may have only started his full-time MMA career in 2020, but he's already 4-0 in the UFC right now, holding glory titles in both the light heavyweight and middleweight divisions of the promotion. But what attributes make him the unstoppable force that he is? Other than the monstrous power that he has in both his hands, there's one thing that really gives him an edge. Pereira is a pretty big guy for the middleweight division in the UFC. Standing at about the same height as Israel Adesanya, Alex is more muscular in comparison. Even with him cutting down on weight, he still completely dwarfed Dominic Reyes in the training pictures that were released a few months ago. It was pretty eye-opening to see those pictures, honestly. To just see the difference in physique between Alex and other middleweight fighters was kind of insane. On top of that, Pereira isn't really too meticulous with spacing in a fight, or managing distances from his opponent. He operates great when he's in kicking range, but the Brazilian kickboxer and MMA star loves inviting trades from the pockets. Alex is usually happy to fight from a distance. He only ever comes in close on purpose, or intentionally lets his opponent come in closer. This introduces a pretty different dynamic to his fights, because he's already so effective from a distance with his powerful kicks and punches. One of the most unique qualities of his kicking arsenal is his kickboxing tendency of stringing kicks together in succession. This is why you'll often see Pereira touch an opponent's midsection with a swift switch kick, before rapidly ripping the lead thigh while his opponent tries to back off. He'll even mix it up and do the opposite at times, touch low before he quickly commits to a devastating high punch or kick. He can even cover long distances fast with his jumping knees, which is something you don't really see other fighters do too often. Another quality that makes Alex such a special fighter is his capacity to switch things up when it comes to his rhythm in the fight. I've seen him throw short combinations, stringing jabs, overhangs, and hooks oftentimes. These three kinds of punches are pretty basic and form the foundation of any fighter in the UFC. But what sets Pereira apart from the rest is his stunning form for throwing punches, along with how well he switches up his attacks and timing. For example, if you take the 2-3, or the right hand and left hook combination, which is a pretty fundamental part of Muay Thai, kickboxing, and boxing, it's no wonder this works so well for the Brazilian fighter, considering his left hook is his money punch. He mixes up this combination really well too. His stoppage win over Sean Strickland was definitely a masterclass in how to set up a left hook.
Good because he's...
Fans criticize Sean for trying to jab and pressure a world-class kickboxer, but what people need to understand is that even though this strategy may not have been the best, Sean fought the way he did because Alex is just that good at baiting his opponents. That's exactly how Pereira likes to fight. He'll stand up high and get right up in your face, largely because he has faith in his own abilities, and by now, everyone else has also become painfully aware of just how good of a fighter he is. This has been why fighters are scared of Alex Pereira.